guys, Ralph here, and welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness on this wonderful Wednesday here in Connecticut. Life's good, man. Life is good. Now, the next, you saw the thumbnail, Jerry's Double Pedals. Now, I had got a lot of requests, not just from trumpet players, but specifically French horn players, to go over this. So I will do my best. But here's the thing. As you know, with the laptop microphone, it gets a little wonky, okay? I'm going to demonstrate back there. He had three exercises that you did, and for the longest time, we used to do these the first notes of the day, okay? 3 exercises, I'll do them back there, and then I will come up and explain them. Unfortunately, I'll try to simulate the action with the mouthpiece so you can get a little idea of the what it looks like and all that. But here we go. All right, I have played a lot today. Let's see what we got. Now, to this day, that is really the extent of what I do with the pedal tones. Every now and then I'll do the first exercise. Okay? Okay? Exercise number 1. That's just down the chromatic scale from a C to an F sharp. As you notice, there is no tonguing in any of these because with your lip, I'll explain it, but the tongue is not in the right place. Okay? Now this is number 2. Now number 2 and number 3, you are going to need a wet embouchure, okay, because you want to slide down. Okay? Number 1, start in a middle C and flop down to the double pedal. Right down the chromatic, once again, middle C to F sharp and flop down. The third one, still with a wet embouchure because you got to slide up, you're doing just the opposite. You're going from the double pedal up to the middle or high register, depending on what you want to do. Okay, now, first of all, these double pedals are nothing new. Okay, originally, they used a German term called Einsetzen and Ansetzen. Okay, Einsetzen, set in. You unroll the bottom lip and set the mouthpiece on it. Ansetzen, you set on the embouchure. You're not setting in, you're setting on. Okay? Now, that was originally coined by a French horn player named Oscar Frank back in the day. And it was used quite a bit, the term used quite a bit in Philip Farkas's treatise, The Art of French Horn Playing. Okay? Guys, I don't suggest that. Vacchiano. I used to carry all my books in a gym bag. Okay? Smelled like old socks and everything. All my excerpt books, Seichicombe, Arbin, socks, Charlier, everything. And one day I've told you this before, one day I had 2 books on top. And that was Charles Cullen, Lip Flexibility, and Philip Farkas, The Art of Brass Playing. He's just going, he takes the 2 of them, and there was a trash barrel across the room, just like a Frisbee, sent him across the room. The Art of Brass Playing went right in, swished it. The other one landed on the floor. He's 1 for 2. I said, Mr. Vagana, you're not a fan of those books? Sound. Did you ever hear him play? And yes, I had. Okay, enough said. Okay? It's a different video. So I wouldn't suggest either of those books. Anyway, back to Jerry's. Now, this is how, going from the Einsätzen up, this is where he got the whole thing about relaxing the corners. He was just shaving one morning, and he went and got his trumpet, went with the Einsätzen, boom, it goes right up to a double C. He had it. Now, let's see. Einsätzen, you unroll both lips. Unfurl. Okay? The top lip stays completely in the cup. The bottom lip is not in the cup at all. It just supports the cup against the top lip. Do you see that? Great. That's Einsätzen, Ansetzen. That's all. Okay? Now, this does a couple things. First of all, number 1, don't you just go down the chromatics. It's like a lip massage. If you've been beat up the night before, it's a good way to start the day. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. Again, all slurred. You're not overblowing. That's another thing. Do not overblow these. Sometimes until you relax enough, they don't respond. And I have seen bloody lips come out of these. Now, that's another thing, guys. Towards the end of his career, I'm going to say 4, 5, 8 years, he didn't do them. Nor did I. What we did is sort of a knee-jerk reaction, just like we do. We do the number 1, whatever. It wasn't any part of an exercise. For the longest time, as I said, that's how we started the lesson. Okay? Now, the second one. Again, you need a wet mouthpiece. If you're using a dry mouthpiece, which is fine. Okay? Just give it a lick, because it does have to slide. Okay? So you're starting on the Ansetzen and flopping down to the Einsetzen. Ansetzen. That's all you're doing. Is you're letting your chops collapse and flop into the cup. Okay? Now, you do not play 2 notes. It's not 2 settings. 2 notes. Bum. No, that's not what you're doing. It's not what you're doing at all. It has to be one continuous, and it will be awkward. This is not performance, guys. It's just not. Be very, very awkward until you get the hang of it. But it just has to be one continuous flop. See? I don't know if this is going to come out. Okay? That's all you do. Okay? And the other way, now listen, when the lips are unfold, even if the tongue is forward, guys, it's not gripping the lips. So, quite the opposite. You start with the pedal, and you bring the chops back into grip with the tongue. Okay? Now, I got one of the questions. I told you I got dozens of questions about this. You know, James Morrison, Mick Gillette was another one. A couple of the other guys can just go from boom, boom, boom to any brass instrument. Is this what they're doing? Not really. Not really. Now, in the trombone and euphonium, are you getting more of a flap? Absolutely. But the reason those guys can bounce from one to the other, French horn, piccolo, trumpet, whatever, okay, is because of the relaxed corners. And that can be done. Absolutely 100% done without the unfurling. The only thing, the tuba is a different animal. I don't like a whole lot of the tuba, but that allows some unfurling into the cup, not supported. In my brass quintet years ago, we had one of the best bass trombone players in New York City. His name was George Gesline. Now, check out this talent. He subbed regularly with the New York Philharmonic, and he did dozens of tours with Buddy Rich. I mean, that's the guy. And he was amazed by my double pedals. I mean, he's looking right at, show me that again. And how it would come out of the double pedals up to the double or high C, whatever. Okay? And another thing, guys, this is not for performance. And if it gets a little funky, so be it. Work on it if you'd like. Okay? But it should not be a integral part of your work. It just shouldn't. 3 minutes tops. That's all you need. I didn't time that. I was explaining a lot. Guys, that's all you need. You do it 2-3 minutes every single day if you feel like you want to do it. And over time, it will get better. But remember, you are not doing 2 notes. You're either going from the Ansetzen to the Einsetzen and flop down, or you do just the opposite. You go from the Einsetzen to the Ansetzen and pull them back in against the tongue. Okay? Now, what happens on the number 3 all the time, especially the beginners? They get up to a C, E, G in there and they get stuck. Now they can do da 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 da. They can do that, okay, without the Ansetzen. But all of a sudden they get stuck. Guys, it's perfect. Perfect. Because even though it's frustrating, what is happening there is your chops are dying to go back to tighten the corners to control, and that lock from them won't allow them to do it. Now, once again, up close and personal. See how fat that is? How thick that is, how muscular that is. Now, it's flopping. You're not going to be able to play a double C like that. But that is the thickness. Okay? And if it gets stuck, that's telling you you're trying to engage the corners. And that tug of war with the pedal is not letting you do it. All right? All right. Comments and criticisms are down below. And if there's something that I missed, a question about it, let me know. All right? All right. Love you all.